You're watching coverage of the 2023 Digital Dealer Conference and Expo in Las Vegas on CBT News.
Hey everyone, Jim Fitzpatrick with CBT News. We're on location at the 2023 Digital Dealer Conference in Las Vegas, and we've got a great friend of the show here, Ms. Kathryn Schifferle, who's the founder and chief vision officer of Work Truck Solutions. This is a company that is doing great things for dealers and with dealers, and really bringing on a whole nother revenue stream in some cases. And I want to talk to you about that today. When we last spoke, we talked about the evolution of shopping for vehicles and the next big opportunity, since many dealers are looking for ways to overcome today's challenges. Talk to us about that.
You bet. Good to see you, Jim.
Yeah, good to see you.
And I get very excited about this because we now have a period of time that we can look back at and reflect on.
Yeah.
In 2020, we saw that commercial use of vehicles was steady, no matter what kind of pandemic was happening.
That's true.
And the demand was great. It still is good. It's stable. No kind of threat of any kind of recession in that area, right?
That's great.
And so I think that kind of spurred the OEMs on a little bit in being able to start delivering more to that business customer. So dealers now have the opportunity not only to sell vehicles, but to sell other products like telematics, fleet management, charging, cash card, gas cards, etc.
Yeah, there's no question. And this is something that dealers, and we've talked about this before, they really owe it to themselves to take a much closer look at. As a former dealer myself, you're saying, okay, we've got our lot, we've got our showroom, we can sell new cars and used cars and F&I and service, but what other avenues can we open up to bring in other revenue? And I've always been impressed. This is kind of a no-brainer for dealers.
And I'm really glad that you have that perspective, because you know that in a community, isn't a dealer about a community?
That's right, they very much so.
The small businesses are not just there to buy commercial vehicles.
That's right.
They're the people of the community.
That's right.
And I can't tell you which OEM, but they did a study, and for every medium-duty vehicle that they sold, the dealership sold 7 other vehicles.
Isn't that something?
Yeah,
Wow.
it just tells you,
there's
owners,
no question.
employees, everybody.
There's no
and
question.
they're loyal.
Yeah, they
and
are.
Loyalty is a big thing right now.
I know. It's something every dealer is challenged with, for sure. People are jumping brands and they're jumping dealerships and what have you. And as a small business owner myself, I know that if I'm going to be buying, a vehicle for my company at one particular place, I'm going in there, I'm getting to know the people. It's certainly going to consider it when I buy a personal car, or my daughter needs a car, my son needs a car, we need service of those vehicles. So to your point, I can see where it needs all those.
And service is another thing that's really uniquely different.
Yeah.
If my work vehicle is down, I'm losing upwards of $3,000 a day.
Wow.
If a dealership can serve me, put me to the front of the line, have a few technicians that understand, maybe have a mobile service, and that's one of the things that's becoming even more a profit margin for dealers.
Sure, no question.
They have a couple of mobile services they can go out and businesses, they're not waiting for the next coupon.
No, no, they're not.
Which is, by the way, what I do for my personal vehicle, right?
Sure.
They're like, now, I need it, and I need someone I can trust.
That's right, and they don't, to your point, they don't call up and go, well, how much is that? They go, get it in, and let me get this technician or this worker back on the road, because we need that vehicle, right? Or to your point, it's going to cost them $1,000 a day in lost income.
That's right.
Yeah, no question about it. The goal is to find new growth areas, preferably. We just talked about some of them, and offer, stability to kind of insulate against, some of these ups and downs in the marketplace, right?
And I think the most important thing for the dealer to kind of recognize is what this means is a commitment to being a different type of a sales operation. They need to become consultative.
Yeah.
And, my mentor, Jim Press, he's a very smart guy.
Jim Press, formerly of Toyota.
That's right.
Great
guy.
I had the opportunity to work with Jim Press back in the 80s when he worked at Southeast Toyota Distributors for a little while. Great guy.
Yeah.
Great guy.
And we did a session on this at NADA, talked about this idea, if we can give the dealers a way to start thinking about being consultative.
Yeah.
It'll help them in the rest of their business.
Sure.
Now, in commercial, you have to be.
Yeah.
but it's kind of like a foot in the door on how to change that mentality that's been, it's really a plague right now, right?
Yeah, of course. So how have you been talking to dealers and GMs? I mean, even like marketing directors here at Digital Dealer and elsewhere, I'd imagine that, they're ready to jump in on this.
It's hard to change.
Okay.
I actually...
imagine that. Not
imagine
car
that.
dealers.
Yeah, and
right.
I mean, the thing I love about car dealers is that they are very entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
And so if you can show an ROI,
sure.
If you can show that you have the tools that will help them,
yeah.
If you can have, hold their hand.
Yeah.
And honestly, when you look at what we've built over the last 11 years, that's really what we've built. We've built trust. We've built tools that make them efficient and give them the ability to understand and do this market that's the products are kind of complicated, right?
Sure.
But and then we have a whole big staff of customer success managers who are focused on holding hands and helping them get from point A to point B.
That's right.
Now I want to tell you a quick little story. One of our first dealers, when we got him live, and he was doing commercial, but I said, "Hey Francis, have you ever stocked a dump truck?" And he said,
a dump truck.
I've been in this business for 30 years and I've never sold a dump truck.
Right.
And I said, that's not what I asked you.
That's right.
I asked you if you've ever stocked one. And he said, no. And I said, well, look, because we have these little wireframes that let customers shop by what the vehicle looks like, right?
Oh,
so you
cool.
can click on a dump truck, right?
Okay.
And then start seeing if there's any.
Yeah.
I said, it's number 3 all the time, every month in searches.
No kidding.
He goes,
wow.
Oh.
Yeah.
He bought one.
Yeah.
He sold it.
Yeah.
I drove by the other day. He's got this is dump truck season. So he started seeing.
Dump truck season.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So twice a year, dump trucks are
no
hot.
Kidding.
So
Oh
getting the data of what your
That's the key.
market
Yeah.
is interested in.
That's right.
Having the tools.
Yeah.
So that you don't have to start with,
Sure.
a couple guys that know how to build trucks. That's
right.
not what you
That's
need
right.
to do anymore.
No. And think about that particular dealer that says, no, I don't sell dump trucks, I'll sell vans, I'll sell other commercial trucks. But you might lose that commercial customer if they go to a dealer that does sell dump trucks.
I'm afraid to tell you what the margins are on a dump truck too.
I can imagine.
Oh, huge.
Yeah.
5 digits.
No kidding.
Yeah.
You need the bed of the dump truck to grab the gross profit.
I like that.
That's fantastic. So, when you we spoke to one of your dealers, and they said they went kicking and screaming on this deal, and now they would go kicking and screaming if you took it away from them. Because do you find that to be the case where they're kind of skeptical at first, and then they're like, oh my gosh, this is a whole new opportunity for us?
There's a lot of fear.
Yeah.
There is.
Yeah.
It's different,
Yeah.
And it's not sexy.
Yeah.
And we are
Exactly.
part of
Right.
we're technology people that want it to look like it's
Sure.
magic and stuff. And
Sure.
this is really technology that provides that vision of what you should have for your specific market,
Sure.
and then helps you run the business.
Right.
It's not real sexy.
No.
But if you
But it's
like money,
That's right. Money's sexy.
Money's sexy.
That's right.
Oh,
Let me ask
I
you
need a
this.
T-shirt.
For money is sexy, but for dealers that are listening to us, do they need a bigger facility? Do they need a special lot? Do they need more, bays to get into this? They need what they have, right?
I think you start with the market.
Okay.
You look around, and this is something we can help with,
Sure.
and say, am I in an urban market? Am
Yeah.
I in a rural market? Am I in a market where the weather is, Southern California?
Sure.
Am I in a snow type market? What are the kinds of things that we know about markets and size of markets? And then you from there say, okay, well, what piece of that do I want?
Right.
You don't have to go for the whole banana right away.
Right.
We do have dealers that are building bays that are specific for commercial,
Sure.
but mostly that's because they've been in the business for a little bit,
Okay.
and they see the margins there.
Yeah.
But they have the base to start with.
Sure.
But to start
Sure.
with, we actually have a couple of, I can't mention the dealer group, but we have a couple of brands that you would never think are commercial. They're not the standard, but they went into commercial because in their market, used commercial was really big. And so they were able to add used vehicles of all different brands to their site.
Nice.
to bring in businesses
Yep.
to sell their small cars.
Yeah, yeah.
to.
So that's kind of the roadmap,
Yep.
to kind of start out small. Dealers don't have to be this big, huge commercial
They don't have
facility.
to worry about what they're going to order anymore either. It used to be
Right.
it was like what did we do last year? Well, does that still even matter?
Right,
You know?
right.
There's
Yeah.
data.
Yeah, isn't that great? So talk to us about the playbook. I know that you've worked with dealers on this and managers and such. So, talk to us about what you've been sharing on that.
I think first I just want to say our marketing team and our customer service team is phenomenal, and they realize that there's a way to get kind of best practices out there.
Sure.
And it's pretty basic,
Yeah.
but we've built chapters to focus on each of the things, like finance is different for commercial.
Okay.
Digital marketing is different.
Okay.
What
When you
is
say
the opportunity?
finance? You mean the retail finance to the end user, or the floor plan finance?
I mean the end user,
Okay.
the businesses,
Okay.
the way that they buy vehicles
Okay.
is different than
Yeah.
you and I would go in and
Okay.
buy a car.
Gotcha,
They're
gotcha.
different finance needs.
Okay.
Well, how are they different?
Yeah.
Are there still opportunities, which
Right.
of course there is for
Of
the
course,
dealer?
yeah.
But we've laid it out. We've got 6 chapters now.
Okay. Wow.
So
That's great.
it is.
Yeah.
And we make that available to anyone that's interested.
That's a great place to start. So I'm glad that we brought this up for dealers that are listening to us have this conversation. That maybe you're on the fence and you've seen our discussions before on CBT News, and you're saying I kind of want to find out more about this. That might be a great place to start, right?
Absolutely.
Is with the playbook. So we're going to show the information on the screen here to get a hold of that and offer it to you, because I'd recommend starting there. Unless you've heard us and you say, no, I'm all in, I've heard enough, I want to become a dealer
just
right
call us.
away.
That's
give
right.
it, yeah, give it. And you guys, really, for dealers that are out there that are looking for additional gross profit, you're looking to take care of the customers that are coming in, the small business owners, those, to your point, that is your community. You're actually doing a service for them, and you're not missing all of those other dollars that business owner is going to be bringing you in
Yes.
all of the other deals that they do, right?
Absolutely.
There's no question about it. I mean, if I were a dealer today, and I know I've said this before, this is something I would definitely be running after in a very big way. It makes perfect sense.
Well,
right?
I really appreciate that you
Yep.
have that experience and that you've been able to clarify it
Oh.
for all the viewers.
There's no question. I would imagine too, and we didn't talk too much about it, but I would imagine the F&I on something like this, because they're usually, a dump truck's not cheap.
That is correct.
So if I've got a little bit of a spread on there,
Yep.
and I'm going to make some F&I income, it's going to be good.
And the same
Yeah.
thing on service.
Sure.
Even
Oh,
if
that's
you're
right.
not building a special thing,
Yeah.
the margins on that are
right.
pretty measurably
Yeah.
higher.
Now, I would say that you've got to have dealers that by now got into this and now have an entire, because I know dealers, right? We're going to take up the block. We're going to buy the facility next to us. Let's change that into a lot for commercial. Let's put our own, right?
We
This has
do
gotta
have
happen.
that. We have some
Yeah.
dealers that it's now 50% of their revenue
See that?
with
Wow.
higher margins.
Right.
And what's great is if you act in your market
Yeah.
pretty quickly,
Yeah.
you can have that first mover.
Sure.
But even if there's someone else there, you can examine what they're doing and
Yeah.
find the places that they're not covering.
Isn't that great? Isn't that great?
Yeah.
And you being able to hold the dealer's hand through this process is I think it's all the difference. There's no question, because dealers might be nervous to take this on, but because of Work Truck Solutions, that's the key, I think.
We realize that even though we're all about data and technology, it's
Yeah.
really about the consultative nature
Right.
of this space
Right.
and what we can do to help.
Yeah, for sure. And your OEM's going to love you for it, right?
We do
Yeah.
have big support
I
from
bet.
all the OEMs.
I bet. Kathryn Schifferle, it's a name that you need to know, founder and chief vision officer at Work Truck Solutions. Thank you so much for stopping by. Really appreciate it. It's always fun catching up with you, and I know that we get so many dealers that you got to have her back on again. I want to learn more about this. So thank you so much.
Love being here, and have a great show.
Yes, you too. Thanks.
Thanks for watching CBT News coverage of the 2023 Digital Dealer Conference in Las Vegas.